Hello everyone, I'm Dead Knight and this is In It to Win It. Today we are going to be talking about the new Face Hunter deck in Forged in the Barrens, Season 85. This deck has come up mostly to prominence thanks to the recent nerfs that came out for some of the other more popular decks, but nonetheless this is a very strong deck on its own. Before we could dive right into it, make sure that you hit subscribe and that you leave comments on this video and all my other videos. Make sure you get updates on what we're putting out. So, Face Hunter, or just any sort of hunter in general, was something that people were really excited to experiment with when Forged in the Barrens came out because of some of the cards that they printed in this set and in the core set. But it was having a hard time finding its footing when it was being crowded out by Paladin and these crazy spell mages that were using Hunter cards better than Hunter was with these really cheap Nagrin slams that spell mage was hitting. But now that the space has opened up a little bit, Hunter is coming out strong and it is just rolling over a lot of decks before they even have a chance to respond. So how is it doing this? For starters, the main win condition for this is going to be Trampling Rhino. Now, for any of you who have played Magic, Trample has been around for a long time, which is damage that will go through minions and to your opponent's face. In this case, in Hearthstone, since your opponent can't block, if the attacker gets to choose all the damage, Trampling Rhino is great because you can take out a small minion and just roll the damage right through the face. It's like having a charge minion. So what is enabling this guy? Well, we have Warsong Wrangler, the new card that for 4 mana lets you discover a beast in your deck and give all copies of that beast +2/+1. So you play this guy on curve to draw the Trampling Rhino and buff it. So this has actually replaced Scavenger's Ingenuity. Even though Scavenger's Ingenuity is still in the format, Warsong Wrangler is just doing the job so much better, putting a body on the board, still getting the buff, and then you also get to pick which beast you want. So the two of these guys working together means that you get to deal a ton of surprise damage to your opponent's face and remove creatures. So that's really good. Another spell it's doing about the same thing is Piercing Shot, which I think a lot of people were skeptical about this card when it was printed because of the high mana cost, but this has proven to be an excellent card. So this is going to deal 6 damage to a minion, and any excess damage is going to go to your opponent. So this is great because even if your opponent is playing no minions in their deck, you can play a Marsual Cub or just any 1/1, your hyena from Wound Prey, and then you can Piercing Shot this and deal 5 damage to your opponent for 4 mana, even if they don't have any minions. If they do have minions, like say Jandis Barav, that's really low health minion, then you can Piercing Shot that and deal the rest to their face. Or you can attack their minion with a Warsong Wrangler or some other minion that you already had on the board and finish it off with Piercing Shot, and the rest goes to the face. So usually you would just rather probably remove the minion and then use your minion to attack their face. But the point is, it's versatile. There's a lot of options, a lot of different ways that you can make this card deal tons of damage to your opponent without them being able to do anything about it. So how do we round out this deck of killers? So we have one of the stars of the deck is the new legendary not Tavish Stormpike, which is I thought was going to be really strong in a deck like this, but I think it's just not ready. I think we need maybe one more good 4-cost rush minion or one more good 2-cost rush minion to make this really good. So not that legendary, but the other one, Barak Kodobane, is going to be a pretty strong star of this deck. So this guy is a 3/5 for 5, and you draw 1, 2, and 3 cost spell from your deck. So if you look at the list, you will see that there are not any 3-cost spells in the deck. So why not? The reason is because of Mankrik. So again, a card that was mostly laughed at when it came out, the spell that Mankrik generates, that his wife, actually is a 3-cost spell. So you get to draw a 1-cost spell, a 2-cost spell, then you put a 3/10 into play that goes right to your opponent's face, and then you draw another card, whatever your top card was. So that is a crazy good combo between Barak and Mankrik, and it's a reason to not put any 3-cost spells in your deck, not even Deadly Shot. I have thought about putting a Deadly Shot in here just in case you draw this guy before Mankrik, but overall, the chance of drawing Mankrik usually means the game is over if you can get this combo off. So that is a great enabler. Draw through your deck faster. Tracking, the newly designed tracking that lets you discover a card from your deck instead of blowing up 2 of your cards in order to dig deeper. I really like the new tracking. I always hated the old tracking, even though a lot of people swore by it. I really like the new one, and it finds a great place in this deck to make it more consistent. You also, of course, have Wolpertinger. This is a super versatile card. Not only can you buff it with the Warsong Wrangler and buffs all the copies, including the ones that they generate, but it's great early game presence, and it is great for, like I said before, piercing shot to finish off a game later. Then we also have Khal Drogo, also known as Kolkar Pack Runner. So you can take control of the game really early with this guy, putting out the hyenas when you play spells. So between Wound Prey and Tracking and Quick Shot, which you would prefer to deal damage to the face with Quick Shot, but if you need to take over the board or get rid of a Sethic Veil Weaver or a Venomous Scorpid or some other early game minion that's problematic, you can use Quick Shot. And then, of course, generating these hyenas is helping you keep the board too. You can also send the Quick Shot to the face and then clean up the board with the hyenas if you like to get extra damage in. Then we have Imprisoned Felmaw, which is just a 2-mana card that is going to be dormant and come out from dormant to deal 5 damage as an attack. So this feels like charge, even though you don't get to control the attack. So it's you're dealing 5 damage for 2 mana, and then sometimes it sticks to the board and deals more damage. So a lot of damage coming out from this guy, which is what we want to see in a face hunter deck. Now, one thing that I've done that with my version that a lot of people are not doing is I'm running Trueaim Crescent. So I think this card has been heavily napped on, and most people are running Arcane Shot instead. I think Arcane Shot is not a great card. I think if you're running Arcane Shot, it's because your build is kind of a degenerate build that's going, for out of control damage at all costs. So Arcane Shot is just 2 damage for 1 mana. It does synergize with Kolkar Pack Runner. It does go to the face if you wanted to, so you could potentially top deck an Arcane Shot for the win. But here's why I like Trueaim Crescent. So firstly, if you draw it early game, Trueaim Crescent is dealing 4 damage, and Arcane Shot's dealing 2 damage. So over the course of the game, which is going to last at least 4 turns, Trueaim Crescent deals more damage to the face than Arcane Shot. So that's reason 1. Reason 2 is because of the synergy with Trampling Rhino. So if your opponent has taken over the board and you can't stick anything into the board, you can play a Trampling Rhino, hit one of your opponent's minions, roll damage over to their face, Trueaim Crescent the other minion, which sends the Trampling Rhino to that guy too, more damage to the face. So the synergy there is great. Now you also have the ability to steal the early game with Trueaim Crescent. Your deck is not really set up for that because you don't have lots of high health minions to abuse Trueaim Crescent, but it's still good. It basically turns your non-rush minions like Warsong Wrangler into rush minions by being able to attack the Trueaim Crescent into it, which then sends your minion into it. So I really like this card. I think that people are forgetting about how good it is. So I'm running that. It's worked out well for me so far. Obviously there has been at least one situation where the person was at 2 health and I had a Trueaim Crescent and not an Arcane Shot, and it would have killed them, and it didn't. So that's one time where it worked like the exact worst case scenario, which happens. But then there's other times where I've had exact damage and a Trueaim Crescent that had gone all the way. So take it or leave it. That's my recommendation. But I think it is a quality card. So that is basically how this deck works, and it works really well right now. I think that the worst matchup is probably Control Priest. Control Priest is not putting a lot of minions on the board. The ones they are putting out on the board are doing a lot for them right away. So it's hard to deal that spillover damage against Priest, and then obviously the amount of healing that they put out and the full board clears that they put out is a really tough matchup for Face Hunter. But everything else, any version of Rogue, most of the no minion mages are having trouble with this now that Deck of Lunacy's been nerfed. Paladins have a really hard time staying on the board against this deck, so very strong build. It's good against a lot of different matchups, and I think that you're going to have some fun with it too. It's more fun than previous versions of Face Hunter because of the rollover damage and the discovery, and just a lot of the new mechanics are really making this deck fun. So are you getting a chance to run this? What have your experiences been with this Hunter deck? Do you wish Hunter would just go away? Tell me about it. Leave a respectful comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and tune in next time.